you see this query, so basically I'm grouping the data by department number, right? So if you see this, in the department number 10, I have maximum salary is 5,000. In the department number 20, I have maximum salary 3,000. Got it? So this is what a group by is. So group by basically performs on a group of data, right? In a group of data, I'm performing the aggregate function, right? So in the same case, we basically do here, we have the group by here, right? So how, in which port you want to perform the group by? Like I'll give the department number port, right?
Okay.
Apply, okay. And I'll take another target for this. Underscore add. So, Michael, you understand that, right?
Yeah, well, you just showed. Yes, I do.
Right. So, sum of sum and total sum. Sorry, minimum of sum. Right. That's all the type of number of years.
So why do you have to go back and do this in your target analyzer?
What is that, Michael?
I was asking why you have to go back and add those columns into your target field. Into your target as well.
So if you want to see what is the maximum salary, minimum salary in your table, so how could you do that without having the ports in the target?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think what is my target? Target schema. So I don't have a target schema here. So I'll develop a target schema. So system DSN. I'll add. You know all these things, right? So how to create a ODBC connection for getting the schema. For getting the tables in the particular schema. Target. CL. So prior to this, I'll create a schema. So I'll connect to the root user, sys user, connect system, target, system and manager, right? So in order to create a schema, so I'll create like this, create user, I'll give the user as target, identified by, what is the password, I'll give as the target. So if the target is the username and target is the password, right?
Okay.
So I'll give the privileges to it, grant DBA to target. So the grant is succeeded. So I can do any kind of activities in this target schema, right? So what is the schema?
Schema is the collection of tables.
Exactly. It's a collection of database objects.
Okay.
Not a table. So database objects could be anything. It could be views, tables, whatever.
Okay.
Synonyms, whatever, right? So I have the target schema here. So Oracle underscore target, TRGT, TRGT. I'll close this. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'll get this thing into the workspace, emp underscore aggregator, right? And I will copy and I will link all these things from the aggregator transformation to the target. Right? So Control S. So I'll go to Workflow Manager. So I'll create a session after this, right? So which mapping I want to associate? For aggregate.
Yeah.
Okay. So prior to this, what I have to do? So I have to give the relation connections here, right? I don't have the relation connections, I guess. So as it is a new repository, so what I'll do is I will create the relation connections, right? So
Okay.
which database you are creating the relation connections? New. I'll give Oracle underscore source. Right, I'll create one for target, Oracle underscore target. And the connection string is OCL. Right, so I'll go and set some standard properties here. So what are the standard properties? I'll keep this right backward compatibility. So what is the purpose of this?
Not sure.
Okay, so basically the Informatica, the integration service will create a log file in a .bin folder. I mean in a .bin structure, means binary format, right? So you can see that. So where you can see that Informatica, right? Server. In the server you can see in the info shared folder. So here you go, session logs, right? Session logs. So basically whenever you run the session here, integration service will create the session log in a binary format, right? So if a binary format is something like we cannot read that, right? So as we cannot read that, we basically convert, we are asking integration service to convert that binary format into the text format.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
So I told everything, Michael. Maybe it's we have a gap. That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
So you understand, right? So as long as so basically whenever you run this particular session, the integration service will create the session log in binary format as well as text format, right? Got it? So I'll create a folder here for your session log folder. Right, so I'll create Michael. So in this Michael folder, right, all my session logs will be created. So unless you specify here Michael, so this is basically the session log directory where the session logs are created.
Okay.
So unless I created here the Michael, the session logs will be created here in the session logs folder.
Okay.
So if I specify Michael here, right, all my session logs will be created in this Michael folder under the session logs, right? So I'll go for the next option. So the next option I have, the standard option I keep is save session logs, right? So how you want to save the session log? Either by session runs or by session timestamp. So session runs is basically, right? So if you keep five here, right? Integration service will save the session logs in that particular directory for the last 5 runs, right? So if you keep a session, Yes?
Yeah.
So if you keep session timestamp, okay, so you can see the session log is disabled here for runs, right? Basically, if you keep the session timestamp, what it does is, so for how many runs you run, how many times you run the session, that many times the session log will be created, prefixing with the timestamp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got it?
Yep.
So which is better, you think, whether the timestamp or the session runs? What do you think is the better one?
Timestamp.
Why do you say timestamp is the better one?
Well, timestamp I think gives you more detail, right? At least from my perspective.
No, it is not like detail. Even you can get the same details in the session runs also, right?
Okay, but you said that the timestamp for every time you create a session, it creates a timestamp, right?
Right. Every time you run the session,
right.
The session log will be created with the associated timestamp.
Right.
So if you keep the session run, okay, how many times you keep, how many times you keep the runs here, that many times when the session log is created. But you have to be aware of, bit cautious about the session timestamp. Why? Because so how many times you run, that many times the session log will be created. So it is a kind of manual cleanup you have to do if you keep the session timestamp, right? So if you keep session runs, only the 5 runs, last 5 runs will be created.
Okay. So do you not,
last 5?
So do you not care about anything that runs before the last 5 runs?
No, you don't. You won't be. You won't be there.
Okay.
Okay. So if you keep the session timestamp, basically, how many times you run the session, that many times the session log will be filed into the particular directory. Right. So if you have to be cautious about if you keep the session timestamp. So how if you run 100 times, 100 session logs will be created, right? So it's a kind of space wastage, or you have to make some manual clear, right? So go to the mapping, right? And one more thing is stop on errors. So you'll have to keep the stop on errors as well. Why? Because so if you have any errors, right? So basically, if the stop on errors is 0, right? If the stop on errors is 0, the integration service, even in case of any error that is present in the session run, it does not fail the session, right? So if you keep 1 here, so whatever the error you got in the session run, the session will be failed.
Okay.
You remember? I told in the prior class.
Yeah.
Just refer to the videos. So if you get any doubt, we'll see in the next class. Right?
Yeah, because the last video you were supposed to send it to me, right?
Is it with me?
Yeah, because I couldn't record it until you recorded it, and you were supposed to send it.
Damn. So are you recording the session now?
I'm recording this one, yes.
Okay. So basically, okay. I'm not sure the laptop I use for that time is a different one. Okay. So basically, stop on errors is nothing but, so in case of any error that happens during the session run, okay. So if it is 0, the session will be succeeded. Writing the error in the session log, right? Session will be succeeded. So if it is 1 means the session will fail even if the single error occurs. Okay?
Yeah.
So go for the mapping tab. I don't have control. Yeah. Okay. So go for the mapping tab. So if you go for the mapping tab, one of them is nothing but it's a schema name. So just what is the schema? Okay.
Okay.
So you have to keep in mind that basically, so you need not, it doesn't matter even you switch the schema name here, but in real time, as there are many schemas in a particular, in the databases, right? So in that case, what you have to do is you have to definitely specify the schema name here. If not, the session will fail, right? So
Okay.
here it's nothing but target table name prefix. It's target, right? And so what I do, you want to truncate the table before loading the data, right? So you can uncheck this as you are not doing any delete, and even you can uncheck updated update as you are not doing any update. Only thing you have to keep is syntax, right?
Okay.
Apply, okay, and create a workflow. Or create a workflow W underscore aggregate underscore okay, W underscore aggregate. So I'll drag the session from here to here and leave the session. Okay. So if I run the session, so you can view the statistics of the session in the workflow monitor. So I'll connect to that. Michael, please practice all these things because all these things are basic ones. So if you practice these things, I will give you the scenario. So the session got failed. So in this case, what we have to do is we have to check the session log. So it is just V. We can see table of view does not exist. So it is saying the table is not there in the schema. So the table is not actually created. I'm sorry. So I'll generate an SQL. Generate an SQL with this. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the table is created. I guess let's see whether the table is created or not. The table is not generated in the target, right?
Yeah.
So I generated now from Informatica. You can see the table is now there, right?
Yeah.
So let's run the mapping now. So I'll refresh the mapping before running it, and I will save it. If I start the workflow, so I can see it's running. So you can see the table is succeeded, right? So let's see how many rows are there and how many rows are processed. Right, you can see, right, 14 rows are there in the source and 3 rows got processed. So let's see what is there in the target. Right, you can see, right.
Yeah.
You can see, right. So I have the data 10, 20, 30, maximum salary, minimum salary, and the sum of salary, right, for each department we got. So if you observe the data, like select also. what I apply. Right, so you can see here for the 10th department you have you got the maximum sum of salary, minimum, and so you basically perform the aggregate function. So the row which you got for the 10th department, you can see it's a Miller row, Miller, Clark, and all. So if you observe here for the 10th department, the last row is this, right? So the last row is this one, and you associated with this you got information maximum salary, maximum salary, and the minimum salary, right? So if you observe the department number 20, so you can see here you got the Jones data associated with the maximum salary, sum of salary, aggregate function, right? Sorry, so we not do it. Right, so you can see here the Miller is the, for the 10th employee you can see the Miller is the last record, right? So for the 20th employee you can see the Ford is the last record, here also the Ford is the last record, and for the 30 James is the last record here, even the James is also last record. Associated with this we got the maximum sum of salary and the minimum sum of salary, what are all the conditions, right? So by this what did you understand? So basically whenever you perform the aggregate functions in Informatica, right? So in a group it is actually returning the last record and with the associated aggregate function data, right?
Mm-hmm.
You understand that?
Yeah.
So if you did not give any group by here, so you do not give the group by here, right? Mm-hmm. So what will happen now? What record will it come? How many records will it come?
Let's see. No group by.
I did not give any group by here. You understand here, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is, so when I gave the group by department, okay,
Yeah.
When I gave the group by department, so it is actually returning the last record of the each group. So if you see here for 10th department, it give the Miller is the last record. So Informatica has given the Miller record here with the associated aggregate data, and for department number 20, it gives the Ford data, right? So Ford is the last in this row, last in this table for department number 20. For department 30, it gives the James record, right?
Okay.
You got it? Basically, aggregator function, whenever you process the aggregate function, aggregate transformation in Informatica, it returns the last row in the group. Informatica makes so it is actually it returns the last record for each group.
Okay.
Right? So there is
Okay,
no
so
reason for that. Informatica aggregate transformation is built like that.
Okay. So it just picks the last record for each rows and aggregates those then?
Aggregate depending upon the what you give the aggregate function. In
Correct.
this column is the aggregate function, so that
Okay.
that will return, right? So
Okay.
let us say I did not give any aggregate. Did not give any group by port on my data, incoming data.
Mm-hmm.
So what will it return?
Everything?
Simple. No, just now we understood, right? Basically the aggregate function, aggregate transformation returns the last record, right? So let us say I did not give the group by function. So whenever I run the session,
So does it just bring back one? Just the very last one?
Exactly. You can see, right? Only
Yeah.
one record it returned. So let's see what is that record. So which one do you assume? Which one do you assume the record will come?
The Miller, the very last.
Exactly. Excellent. So here you go. The thing is, if you did not give any group by on the incoming data, so basically what it does means the integration service it assumes that all the records as a single group and it returns the last record and gives the associated group functions on the salary.
Okay.
Got it? So you can see right, for all the data the maximum salary is 5,000. For all the data sum of salary is 29,000. For all the data the minimum salary is 800.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So that's what the aggregate transformation is. So whenever the integration service performs the aggregate function, right? So here you go. There are some properties here, like the cache, right? Cache is nothing but it's as I told you in the last class. Cache is nothing but it's a temporary buffer area, right? So whenever the integration service process the aggregate transformation in the mapping, it creates the cache, right? So in that particular cache, all these calculations are done.
Okay.
All these calculations are done, right? Got it? So first the Smith record gets into the cache, right? So here, as we given the group by, so it basically creates the group by in the index cache and all the other records in the data cache. You can see it, right? So
yes.
There are two kinds of cache, aggregate cache and the index cache. So whichever you perform the group by, that will be stored in that columns will be stored in the index cache, and the rest of the columns will be stored in the data cache.
Okay.
Right? So what are all the operations that are performed by the aggregate transformation, that will be done in the aggregate cache. Right? So after all the operations done in the aggregate cache, and from the aggregate cache the data will be released to the next transformation or the target. Right? So after the completion of the session, the cache will be actually removed.
Okay.
The cache is deleted after the end of the session. Right?
Okay.
You understand, right? What is a cache? Cache is nothing but it's a temporary buffer area where all the operations are done. Right?
Okay.
You may even in the last class explained you the sorter cache, right? So
Yeah.
sorter cache is basically used for sorting the data. Right?
Yep.
You understand that? Sorting the data. So where the sorting will be done? In the cache. So you have something like a sorter cache. So in that particular sorter cache, all the sorting will be done. So here all the aggregations will be done in the aggregate cache.
Okay.
Right? So it will be something like, so let us say the first record enters into the aggregate transformation, right? 800 enters into the aggregate cache. Next time the 1600 enters. Next time the 30 the third record enters. So you can see both the department numbers are same. So what it does means it sums the both of them in the cache, right? So here it sums the both of the things, and it maintains only the word record. It does not maintain the LN record. Why? Because between these two records, what is the lost record?
Word.
You got it or not?
Yeah.
So between these two records, what is the lost record? What is the lost record? Right? So what will be there in the right? What will be there in the cache, and the addition will be done. Right? So what is the maximum salary between the two? 1600.
Yeah.
Right? 1600 will be there in the cache, and what is the sum of salary between the? It will make the sum of salary. So please kindly try to assume all the things. So it's a kind of very detailed explanation. You have to make some depth assumption in this.
Okay.
Okay. You got it?
Yeah.
So every time the integration service it pulls only one record from the source. One record. So it pulls one record from the source, right? So it gets to the aggregate transformation. So aggregate transformation, aggregate cache will be there somewhere here. So in that aggregate cache, all the aggregate functions will be done. Aggregate operations will be done. So after the cache, after all the records comes into the cache, right? So the operations will be done here, and it releases to the target. after the end of the session, the cache will be removed. Right?
Okay.
So we have another option here like sorted input. Right? So basically, sorted input is nothing but if we are giving the sorted data to this transformation, right? So basically, you can check the sorted input. So if you check the sorted input here, the integration service thinks that the sorted data is coming to this transformation, right? So by this, basically what happens is we can improve the performance of the aggregate transformation.
Yeah. Can you repeat that again? What the sorted input does?
Sorted input is nothing but you are actually telling if you check the sorted input option, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you check the sorted input option, we are actually telling the integration service that we are passing the sorted data.
Okay.
Right? So if you uncheck this, integration service assumes that you are not passing the sorted data.
Okay.
Sorted data is nothing but either a ascending or a descending data.
Yeah.
Right? So which transformation basically we do the sorting operation?
Sorted transformation.
Exactly. So what I'll do, I'll delete that links here. I'll get the sorted transformation. So where is it? Sorter. So I'll get the sorted transformation here. Where is it? Okay. So I want to do that by department number. Sorted department number. So I'll keep all the things here. So whatever, so basically you know, right, this contains the key. Key is nothing but, so on which column you are performing the sorting, that column we call it as a key, right? So basically you are performing the sorting on the department number. So you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Ascending or descending, right? You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the key point here is, so whatever on which port or which column you are performing the sorting, so that column should be there in the group by. Got it or not?
Yeah.
That is the key point here. So if you keep some other, so let us say you have kept the department number of the sorting port, right? So in the aggregate transformation you kept the job as a group by. So in that case what happens is the session will fail. Why? Because there is a mismatch of sorted input and the group by here.
Yeah.
You have to keep in mind that in both the transformations, the sort key is same as group by key here.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So on department number we perform the sorting. So I'll keep the group by also on the department number. Right? So what I'll do is, as I'm passing the sorted data, right? Sorted data is nothing but I'm sending all the data in a sorting order. So what I'll do is I'll keep the sorted input. So if I keep the sorted input here, I'm actually telling the integration service that I'm passing the sorted data to this aggregate transformation.
Okay.
So what happens is, whenever I keep this sorted input, the integration service will assume that the data is already sorted and perform the aggregate calculations as the data comes.
Okay.
Okay. By this we can improve the performance of the aggregate transformation. So click on. So I'll save it. Maybe there are 14 records here. It does not make sense. It does not make any difference in loading the data. If there is large sets of data, like some millions of data, in that you can clearly know what is the importance of sorted input. It's giving some weird error. I did not say it. It's giving some partitioning license. So there is no partitioning here.
Okay.
I don't know why it's giving like that. So basically, it's a partition should be there here. We that option is not even present. I think these guys did not buy the partition license. That's why, that's the reason it was not there.
Okay.
Okay, so basically you understand, right? If you keep the sorted input transformation before that, we can use a sorted. If you pass the sorted data to this transformation, you can use the sorted input option, right?
Okay.
Got it? So that's what a aggregate transformation is, right? So the next transformation we have is the journey transformation. Right. So journey transformation is nothing but, let us say you have the data that is coming from two different the two different tables, right? So you want to do the merging of data. So if you have if you take this example, so you have the employee data, right? So I'll connect to the Scott employee, Scott Tiger. So if you observe this, select star from EMP. So you have all the employee data here, and if you select star from DPT, right, you have all the department table, department data, which contains the department number, right? So here, if you observe, here the department number is the primary key and department number is the foreign key, as we discussed in the last class.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So basically, if you want to know for every employee where he is working, basically you have to join the two tables. Got it?
Yeah.
So here you can see this table contains the employee data, and this table contains the department data where these employees are working. Right? Yeah. So if you want to know where the Smith is working, in which department and which location he is working, basically that information is there in the department table. Right? Okay. So if you want to know the employees who are working in which department, so basically what you have to do is you have to join the data. Yeah. Right? So in order to join the data, Informatica is providing a journey transformation. So journey transformation is nothing but journey transformation is basically, it's a kind of active transformation, right? So what is the active transformation?
Active transformation is a transformation that increases or changes the number of rows.
Exactly. So so journey transformation is basically joins the data based on a common column, right? So let me show you that. So journey transformation. So journey transformation is a kind of merging. So as I told you, right, merging is a form of data transformation, right? So so journey transformation actually joins the data based on a common column, right? So I'll get the department data into my Informatica. So right, department. So I'll save it. Right, so I'll get both of these into my workspace. It's hanging again. Right, so you can see. So I'll drag the department data into workspace. So in order to join these two tables, right, what I have to have? Journey transformation. So you can see here, this is the journey transformation I have. I can click on this. So I'll get the two tables data into the journey transformation. So journey transformation basically joins the data between the two tables on a common column. So you can see if you go to this condition, so you can see the department number is equal to the department. So prior to this, I think I have to explain the join in the database, right? So basically you have these two tables. So how you perform a, if you want to know, as I told you before, if you want to know which table, I mean which employee working in which department, I have to join the two tables, right? So for joining the two tables, what I'll do is select email from a job, from a file, from a department number, comma, the name. So here I am selecting from, comma, location from EMP, comma, DEPT, right? So if I do like this, so whenever I click enter, okay, so it's ambiguously defined. So as this department number contains in both the tables, so it is the Oracle server unable to recognize from which table the department is coming. So in this case, what I'll do is I'll keep the alias name. So I'll keep from employee table. You take the I'm telling the Oracle server to take the department number from the employee table, right? So if I select this, you can see there are 56 rows are selected.
Okay.
So how many rows actually you have to get? How many rows we have to get?
How many
we
rows?
have 14 tables, 14 rows, right, in my employee table. So for this 14 rows, when I'm joining the data, I want to know which department these employees are working. Basically, I have to get the data 14 rows while I'm joining the data. But here, if you see, I got 56 rows. Why? Because if you observe this, I have the Smith employee working in department number 20. So he belongs to research and Dallas, right?
Okay.
So if you see in the data, I have the Smith employee working in accounting in New York. I have Smith employee working in research and Dallas. I have Smith employee working in sales in Chicago, and here working in operations in Boston, right? Basically, the correct one is the Smith employee is working for, as he belongs to the department number 20, right? So he should be working for research in Dallas, right? So here, if you see, I got the Smith employee working for all the 4 departments, right? So this is a kind of inadequate data. Why? Because the Smith employee, what I have here, right? The Smith employee, what I have here, is matching for the 4 department, the 4 rows in this table. So you can see, right? I have 14 rows here in my employee table and 4 rows in the department table. So typically, what it does means, for every row in the employee, so it's matching with the every row in the department, right? 14 into 4, how much is that? 56.
Yeah.
You can see here, I have 56 rows that is coming in this table, in this join. So this is a kind of Cartesian product, right? It is a kind of cross product I am getting between the 2 tables.
Yeah.
Right?
But is this
So
correct? This isn't right, right?
Right, it's a kind of invalid data. Right? So in order to get the actual data, what I have to do is, so I'm adding the common column between the 2 tables. So what is the common column between the 2 tables? Department number, right? So I'll give the where condition here, where emp dot department number is equal to dept dot department number. You can see here, right? So here you go. If you see this, Clark is working, he belongs to department number 10. And what is department number 10? So here the department number 10 is accounting. You can see here, right? So whomever that are there in the department number 10, they are working for accounting. So if it's 20, they are working for research, right? So how we got here? Basically, what we are doing is we are actually comparing common columns between the two tables, right? So here you go. You're actually, whenever the employee department number is equal to department number, I'm selecting the rows, right? So if you see here, department number 20, right? So it belongs to department number 20. So it will join with department number 10. So it is, if the condition is true here, 20 is equal to 10, false, right? So Oracle server will suppress this row. It will connect with 20 is equal to 20. So here the condition is correct. You got it or not?
Yeah.
I'm writing the query like. So if I want to get the adequate data or valid data, so I'll the employee number, email, emp dot department number, email, location from emp dpt, where emp dot department number is equal to dpt dot department number. So this is the query I have given. So if you see here, this basically gives the adequate data, valid data. How it gives the valid data? Whenever the employee department number is equal to department or department number, so I am selecting all these columns, right? So you can see here the Smith belongs to department number 20. So whenever this department number 20 is equal to the department number 20 in the department table, I have to get the data. So here the 30, whenever the 30 is equal to 30 in this table, I am getting the sales and Chicago with the respected columns in the employee table. You understand?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
So you can see here, whenever I press enter, I'm getting the adequate data. 14 rows I got. So Clark is basically working for department number 10. Here you go, the department number 10 basically belongs to accounting in New York.
Mm-hmm.
You got it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So here the thing is, whenever the employee department number is equal to department number, we should get the data. So this is what called as an equijoin. So based on the common column here between the two tables, we are joining the data. So that's what a join means, right? So as the join, we are performing using the equality condition, equality operator. We call this as a equijoin, right?
Yeah.
Sure, Michael. Just recollect once how the data we got. So if you see this, so if I directly, without giving the equality condition here, if I perform the query, so what happens? What happens? If I did not give the query, you can see, right? For every row in the department, it's joining with every row in the employee table.
Yeah.
So that is the reason. So you have 14 rows here, right? And 4 rows in the department table. So 14 into 4, 56 rows you are getting.
Yeah.
This is the kind of invalid data. Why? Because
Yes.
Smith here is working for the 4 departments. So you can see, right? Smith is working for accounting in New York. Smith is working for research in Dallas. Likewise, every record is working for, every employee is working for 4 different departments. This is not a valid data, right? So in order to get the valid data, what I have to do is, I have to keep the equality condition between the two tables, so that I'll get the valid data. You got it? So So here you can see whenever the employee department number is equal to department number, right? Department number, they will get the valid data. You understand that, right?
Yep.
So based on the common column here, what is the common column between the two tables? Department number. So based on the common column here, we are actually joining the two tables, right? So if you go for the joiner transformation also, basically this also performs the same thing like the join condition, joins in the database. So here you go, based on the department number is equal to department, so we are joining the data, right? So this is the common column between the two tables. So based on the common column, we are actually joining the employee and the department table, right? So if you go here, so basically in the database, we call it the employee table as a child table. Why? Because employee table as a child table. Why? Because department number is a foreign key here, and if you go for the department table, the department number here is a primary key. This contains the primary key, this contains the foreign key, right? So this is what we call it as a parent table. This employee table we call it as a child table, right? So likewise, so in Informatica also, this joiner transformation access the data in two tables, like master table and the detail table, right? So master table is nothing but, so we have to configure the less number of records as a master table, right? Why? Because the joiner transformation builds the joiner cache on the master table.
Okay.
Likewise, the aggregate transformation and the sorted transformation, for joining the two tables, for joining the data from the two tables, the joiner transformation uses the joiner cache, right? So basically the joiner cache is performed on the master table. Why? Because it contains a less number of records. So if there are less number of records in the joiner cache, basically it improves the performance. That is the reason the less number of records, which table is there, that we configure as a master table. So you can see, right, this is the master table. If you click on this any column in this employee table, this becomes the master. So you can see, right, all these things become the master, right? So if we, it is better always to choose the less number of records table as a master table. Why? Because on the master table the joiner cache is done, right?
Yeah.
So you have, as I told you before, the joiner transformation takes the two tables in two ways. Takes the tables in two ways. One is master table, and one is the detail table.
Okay. So for the columns in the master table, you have to select all of them.
No need of selecting. So if you click in one any one in the table, it will select all. So you can see, right?
Gotcha.
The employee table it is configured as the master. Okay. So if you take if you click on this one, this is configured as the master table. So you can see here, so master table and the detail table, right? So from between the two tables, what is the common column we have to accept here, right?
Yeah.
Got it? So this also contains the sorted input option. Sorted input option, as I told you before, basically if you are passing the sorted data to the joiner transformation, we can check this. Okay?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is what, as we are not passing any sorted data, we are just unchecking this, right? So I'll click apply and OK. I'll pass the data to the target. So let me build the target table. I'll click on EMP. So this is which form of merging?
I'm sorry?
I told you how many forms of merging are there. What are the two forms of merging? Two types of merging. I told you in the data warehousing concepts. Merging. So I told you, right, there are two kinds of merging, horizontal merging and the vertical merging. You remember?
To be honest, I do not. No.
Okay. As we have 5 days of time, 5 days of gap between the sections, that is the reason you are losing. So okay, that's fine. So I'll get here. Right, so I'll map all these things from journey transformation to the target. Right, so you can see, right, the employee table columns are selected as a detail, and the department roles are selected as a master. Right?
Yeah.
So I select all. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Can you tell me what is the journey transformation now, quickly? So meanwhile I will create the session. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So the journey transformation pretty much takes, I guess, the common column between two tables, and yeah, and joins them to, I guess, to a target.
Right. So basically, it joins the two tables to a single table.
Yeah.
Simple, right?
Yeah.
Next. So what are the options are there in the journey transformation? Yeah, please tell me whatever you knew about whatever I told. So journey transformation actually accepts the data in two ways. One is the master table and the one is the detail table, right?
Yeah.
So based on the common column between the two tables, journey transformation joins the data, right? So it also contains the joiner cache. So joiner cache basically it's of two types. Same index cache and the data cache, right? So index cache contains the condition columns data, and the data cache contains the rest of the columns. So if you want to know, so you can see. So what are the columns that is there in the condition? This will be there in the index cache. So department number will be there in the index cache, right? So all the other columns other than the department number will be there in the data cache. Got it?
Yeah.
So on which table does the joiner cache will build? On which table?
Does the joiner on the master?
Exactly. So what are the columns in the master table?
There's three at the bottom: department number, the name, location.
Right. So these three will be there in the joiner cache, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this will be present in the joiner cache. You have two types of caches. So this basically will be there in the index cache, and these two will be there in the data cache, right?
Yeah.
So whenever the integration service process the joiner transformation, right? So the joiner cache will be done on the master table. So the joiner cache contains department number, DNAME, and the location, right? So whenever each row that enters into the joiner transformation, right? So let us say the employee table. So this row will enter into the joiner cache, right? So 20 is equal to 20, right? So this basically contains in the joiner cache, right? So whenever this row enters into the transformation, as I told you before, integration service it can pull only one row at a time. Got it? So it pulls the first row. So whenever this comes into the joiner transformation, it basically compares 20 to the 20 to the department number in the joiner cache. So wherever it is matching, so wherever the 20 is matching here, research and tell us, right? Got it?
Yeah.
So 20 is matching to 20, so it will output the whole row with research and tell us to the target. So the next time that this row comes, LN row. So LN row is 30 department. So it will compare this 30 with the all the rows in the cache. So wherever it is matching, so it is matching here, right? So the whole row in the employee table plus the sales and Chicago will be sent to the target.
Okay.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'll click OK. So I'll create a workflow. Joiner. So I'll get I lost the connection. So can you pull the journey transfer? Ah, yeah. Okay, I got it. So right.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to give the I've given this. Okay. Whenever I start the workflow, you can see it's running. So you have the 14 records into the target, right? So let's see what are the records there in the target. So I want to know the target table. I lost the connection.
Again?
Mm-hmm. Okay, open SQL Plus and go to the target schema. You can select from the emp_join. Right. So I got it.
Oh, okay.
You can see, right?
Yeah.
For every employee, there is a associated department number and the location.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So as each employee in a company works for only single department, we actually got the single row, single department name and the location. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
So can you fastly explain what is the journey transformation and what are the options that are present in that?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the joiner transformation, like I said before, it pretty much takes a common column between two tables, or I don't know. Does it necessarily have to be two tables? Could it be multiple tables to one target?
So it could be if you want.
Okay.
So basically, the joiner transformations access only two tables to join.
I'm sorry?
Right. So if it accepts only two tables to join.
Okay.
It accepts only two sources to join the data, right? So let us say you have three sources, like you have some employee data, department data, and some other salary data, right? So if you want to join the three tables, what you have to do is first you have to join employee and the department table once. So after that you have to join the let's run. So that's a good question. So you have the sources like employee, department number, and a sal. Let us say sal. Okay. So these are the three tables you have. You want to join the three tables, right? First of all, you have to, as I told you before, join transformation. It accepts only two sources to join, right? As I told you before, this is it accepts only two sources, that is master table and the detail table, right? So here you go, you you made this two table join. Okay.
Yep.
So this result, what you get? You will get some result, right? So let us say we call this table as emp underscore join. Okay. So you will take this one and this one as another table, and you will again join these two tables. You will join these two tables. The result of these two tables is you will get it, right? So that result and the next table you will join by using the joiner transformation.
Gotcha.
Michael, you got it or not?
Yep.
Sure?
Yep, I do.
So basically it accepts only two sources. So if you have more than two sources, what you have to do is, so you have to join the two tables first, okay? So the result of these two tables, you have to join with the other table by using another joiner transformation.
Okay.
Right? So basically the formula here is number of joins is equal to number of sources minus 1. Okay? So if you have three sources, right? If you have three sources, how many you have to use? Two joiner transformations.
Yeah.
Right or wrong?
Yep.
If you have three sources, you have to use two joiner transformations. As I said to you before, this contains three sources, right? So you have to use two joiner transformations, right?
Yep.
If you have four sources, how many joiner transformations you have to use?
3.
Right. How come?
Because you can only do two sources at once, so you're gonna need 3.
So the result of two sources you will join with another table, right?
Yeah.
So you will get some other result. So that result you will join with another table, another source, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I cannot move forward if you don't understand that clearly, Michael.
No, I do.
Right. So yeah, quickly explain what is a joiner transformation and joiner cache, sorted input, water on. Yeah, please quickly explain that.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said before, so the joiner transformation takes two common columns between your source and moves them into a target table. Within your joiner transformation, you have a master table, and I think you have I forget what you call the other table. So within your joiner transformation, you have your master table,
right?
And I think you have, I can't remember what you call the other table.
Detail table.
And then you have your detail table, right?
So it accepts the sources as master table and the detail table, right?
Correct. Yeah. So
yes, please.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say that the index cache is the one that does the operations for the master table, and everything else goes into your data table.
Right.
I mean the data cache.
Right. So I'll give you a material. So this is actually the Informatica material. You have help here, right? So if you click on this, you basically have what are all the information. This is actually given by the Informatica. So if you come here, the transformation guide is present. Okay. So you can read the transformation guide here.
Okay.
Why? Because there is a lot of gap between, 5 days or 6 days gap we are getting. So you may lose what I'm saying. So you can see here, right? So you can read from here. So this will be very helpful for you. Okay? Got it?
Yeah.
So you please kindly read here. So we have overall ITL. It's every instructor teaches from here only. Okay?
Okay.
So you can study from here. So that's what a journey transformation is. So journey transformation joins the data. So it's a kind of, what kind of merging is it? What kind of merging?
I'm sorry?
Horizontal. What kind of merging? Horizontal or vertical merging?
Sorry, give me 1 second. Let me think about it.
How you are joining the data? Horizontal joining or vertical joining? How you are joining?
It would be. I think it would be a horizontal join.
Exactly, horizontal joining, right?
Yeah.
So let us see what is a vertical joining. Okay. So prior to that, we'll go. I'll explain you the. I think you're familiar with filter transformation, right?
I'm sorry?
Filter transformation.
Yes. Filter we did.
So what is the filter transformation?
So the filter transformation is just yeah. So filter transformation is if you want to filter your source data by certain conditions into your target.
Okay, that's right. So I know it's long back. I told you, right? So basically, if you want to filter the data based on the condition, you can use the filter transformation. So you can use the filter transformation for finding the nulls, removing the duplicates, and overall, right? So whatever the condition you give in the filter transformation, the integration service will filter the data according to that condition. So if the incoming row satisfies the condition that is present in the filter transformation, that row will be sent to the target. So if the row does not satisfy, it will be dropped, right?
Yeah.
So that is the basic synopsis. I'll give you a small scenario, right? So you have the table select Scott.emp, right? You have the data, right? So it contains department number 10, 20, 30 data, right?
Yeah.
So I want all the employees who are working in department number 10 into one target, and department number 20 employees into another target, department number 30 employees into another target. Can you do it now?
Oh, here? Yeah.
Yeah, try to do it. Yeah, not in Oracle.
In Informatica, right?
Right. Try to do in Oracle first. After that, you do in Informatica. So how you will write the code of that?
Yeah.
No. So where is the table? Where is the table name?
Yeah.
Excellent. That's fine. Because you are in another schema, so it's not like that.
Yes.
Right, so can you add the schema name before that?
Yeah.
Edit? ED? No. Type ED. Enter. Yeah. Go ahead. Exit. You can directly exit. Save. No. This one. Slash. Forward slash. Right. So you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Got employee data. I mean, department number 20. Likewise, create 3 target tables, one for department number 10, one for department number 20, one for department number 30, right? So you give, I need department number 10 data in one target, 20 data in another target, 30 data in another target.
Okay.
Yeah, can you do it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Actually, I don't have to tell it to Michael, as I told you before, but I don't want you to be in ignorant state. That's why I'm repeating. Right?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. So filter. So I'll get some coffee. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You please go ahead. So a small hint. So how many filter transformation do you use here?
I'm gonna need 3, right? Because you said 10, 20, 30.
Exactly. Please go ahead. Yeah, please. You want to give the condition, right?
Yeah.
Go for properties. The properties tab. Yeah, filter condition. You can give the condition there. Go to ports.
Okay.
Department number 10 is equal to, department number is equal to 10. Make a double click on that. Department number. Okay?
Yeah.
Is equal to, right. So,
Do I need the true in here?
no need, right? Right. Take another filter.
No.
So how is the market there, Michael? People are saying the market is still in recession.
I'm sorry?
People are saying that the market is in recession. How well it is true?
It's definitely not as good as it used to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's still some projects here and there, but it's not as good as it used to be, for sure. Yeah, it's like as soon as we think that we're, completely out of recession, something else happens.
Right.
Yeah.
So
What about you
anyway,
guys?
sorry?
I said, what about you guys?
Yeah, in India there were some firings happening here
Okay.
because there is a lot of cost cutting here. So it's not like a previous. It's
Yeah.
actually what do we call? So not spending the money like before. So they are actually firing the employees whoever don't have project.
Wow.
It's a kind of hard time here. I don't know how maybe people are guessing this February next quarter
Mm-hmm.
it may be a good time. Have to see.
Wow. Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah.
So are you an independent contractor or you work for a company?
Yeah, I work for a company.
Okay.
I work for JPMC.
Oh, I didn't know that. I work for Deloitte actually.
You work for Deloitte, very great.
Yeah, I work for Deloitte.
Deloitte is a very good company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work for before TCS. I work for Heineken.
Okay.
Take 3 targets individually.
Yeah.
Take 3 targets individually. Individually. I mean, no. So,
You said two?
take 3 targets. 3 different targets. Delete that. Delete
Yeah.
from mapping. Make a right click. Delete from mapping. Create 3 different targets for each department number.
Oh, really?
Go to how you create the targets. Right.
Yeah. So 3 different ones?
Well, instead of that, you can
Just import?
yeah, drag and drop the employee here.
Wow.
If it is, how will you import? If it is present in the schema, you will
Mm-hmm.
import. If it is not present in the schema, you have to create it, right?
Yeah.
So how will you create it? Yeah, create it. So I'll show you one. You do for the rest, right?
Yeah.
So let me show you one. So I'll rename this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
EMP underscore department 10. Okay. Go to targets, generate and execute SQL. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure whether this one is in target or not, right? This is the target scheme or not. You have to
Yeah.
make sure that. Okay.
Okay.
Generate and execute. Okay. You can see, right? This is the SQL statement that is processed in that particular schema.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So close. Okay. Save. Yeah. Please create for other two departments.
Okay. It just happened.
No. Hold on.
Yeah.
Click space. Yeah. Yeah, now we track.
Okay.
What we have to do is first rename that.
Yeah.
After that, you can generate and execute. Basically, you don't do this operation in real time. Why? Because DBS will be creating in the DBS will be creating all the schemas and tables.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fine. Click OK. So how will you create? Go to targets, targets tab, generate and execute, generate and execute.
Yeah.
Okay. Close. Save. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Drag them to the targets. Drag the targets to the workspace and connect the right. Michael, did you send the feedback mail to the training people?
I did not. I'll send it today right after.
Yeah. Okay then. Yeah.
Yeah. I apologize.
No. It's not that important, but just there were some issues with them. That's the reason I wanted to.
Okay. Yeah. I had it in mind. I totally forgot. This week was a crazy week at work.
For me, daily it's a crazy. Every day is a crazy day. Yeah. Go to creating a session, create a workflow, right? You have to give the connections. Give the standard properties. What are the properties you give? Yeah. So can you hold on a second? So you forgot to show what are all the bin. You can see it, right? So basically, for every session, the session log is created as a binary file as well as text file. So this is a text file. So if you open, there is WordPad. You can view that in a good way. WordPad is not there. So I'll open that in Notepad.
Okay.
You can see, right? These are all the session log information. You can find it out here.
Okay.
So if you don't keep that right backward compatibility, right? If you don't check this one, so it will create only binary format session log.
Gotcha.
Okay? Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay.
config object. Sorry. Come down. You'll find how to save the session log, either by session runs or top, yeah, session timestamp.
Okay.
Give the owner name. Owner name. You forgot to give the owner name. Come down. Come down.
Okay.
Go up. You
Oh.
did you give the truncate target table? Right. So what is the purpose of that?
So if a table already exists, it overwrites it, right? It drops that table and creates a new one?
No. Dropping is different. Truncate is different, right?
Oh, it clears the clears the metadata that's in there?
If the metadata is created, what will be there? Table will not be there, right? Table is nothing but a metadata, right? So if the metadata is
clears
cleared,
the data?
the table will not be there, right? So basically, if you keep this option before loading the data into the target, it truncates the target table.
Okay.
Truncates the data in the target table.
Okay.
Right? So after truncating the data, it will load the data to the target table.
Okay.
Right. So in which scenario basically this truncate table we keep? In which scenario? In data warehouse? In the staging table, staging area.
Okay.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Right. So basically in the staging area, we do the truncate load. Right? Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So, can I use the same workflow here?
Yeah, you can use, but better to create another one.
Okay.
Better creating another one. If every session is there in the single workflow, it will be quite cumbersome to refer again, right?
Okay.
So you can even these are the workflow options you have, right?
Yeah.
So basically, you can even make the workflow log also into the text format. You have basically two logs. One is a session log and the other one is a workflow log. So session log contains what are all the events that is happening while running the session. Workflow log contains what are all the things happen while running the workflow, right? So these workflow logs will be stored in the here in this scheme, right? So you can see it is actually there in the bind format. So if you want that in the text format, you can check this.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Yeah. So yeah, drag and drop the filter. No.
Yeah.
Filter.
Yeah.
No. Link the task. How you link? Go to the tasks on the top. Yeah, link task. Save. You have to save. Right. Open the workflow monitor. So you can see the session is running. It got failed. Why it got failed? Can you fix the error? Why it got failed?
Yeah, I can try. Getting started.
Go for the session log. Session log will be here. The right here. The right.
Sorry.
So if you click press letter E, you can see error truncating the. It's saying that table of view does not exist.
Oh.
So in that particular keyword, table of view does not exist. Maybe did you generate it and executed all the things? So let me do it again.
Okay.
I'll do. Calculate for target. I generated, right? So I click on OK. So one more thing you have to refer is in the session properties. You have to make sure all the relation connections are fine or not, whether they are pointing to the correct relation connection or not. Can you check that?
Oh.
Is everything fine?
Yeah, it looks fine.
Okay, hold on. And you have to even check. Error truncating the file. you this is actually squat, right?
Ah.
Target table name is, yeah, it's not target, right? What is the name of the target table name?
Mm.
This is the target table name, ETL for department. So you no problem if you did not give the target table name also, right? There is no need of giving the target table name,
Okay.
right? Basically, what you have to give is the target prefix. It's not the target table name. Okay.
Okay.
So that is the reason it is picking the target table name, which is not existed in the schema. Got it? What is the error?
Yeah, that it's saying that the table name does not exist.
Right.
So why is that option down there then? If you don't even need to give.
So if you want, you can give, no problem.
Okay.
So you have to give the so whichever it is there, you can give emp underscore dpt 20.
And the prefix is just that's just the schema then? Table name prefix? Okay.
I'll tell you. A prefix is nothing but what we have given here, right? So how we give here? This is what a prefix is.
Okay.
Right? If you have, if you are in another schema, so if you want to access a different schema table, you have to prefix that schema name before the table name.
Gotcha.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Got it?
Yeah.
Right. So no need of giving the target table name here. So you can directly start the workflow. So you can see right in the department of 10 you have employees 25, 38, 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got it? So
Yeah.
this is how the filter transformation works, right? So other than this, so basically whenever the incoming data is coming, so all the 14 rows are going to this filter transformation. Again, all the 14 rows are going to this filter transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Again, all the data, incoming data is going to this filter transformation. Basically, what happens here is the integration service is processing the incoming data 3 times here.
Okay.
Right? So instead of this, so Informatica is providing another transformation which we call the router transformation. Right? So let's go for that. So instead of giving the conditions in 3 different filter transformations, so there is a transformation which we call it as a router transformation, where in that router transformation we can give any number of conditions. Okay. Right? So let's see that.
Yeah. Hey Venkat, can you give me like 10 minutes?
10 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah, I just need to help my wife with something real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
ಏನು ಇಚ್ಛಾತನು ఏం చేస్తాను ఎందుకు హలో చాలా ఏం చేస్తాను డాడీ గారు చదువుకున్నారు ఇంకా క్లాస్ చెప్తాను చాలా ఉంటుంది చేయించు మీతో పాటు ఇంకా 25 మంది కూడా ఉన్నారు కొత్తగా అడిగి ఉంటుంది సరే సార్ నా క్లాస్ ఉంది ఓకేనా చెప్తాను తమ్ముడే నాది 4000 కనిపిస్తున్నాడు నేను 3000 కనిపిస్తాను ఇచ్చాను దానికి ఇచ్చాను బాగుంటారు అయితే అదే అలాగైతే నేను కూడా 4000 వస్తుంది ఏంటి కాన్ఫిగరేషన్ 512 హార్డ్ డిస్క్ ఎంత హార్డ్ డిస్క్ 320 GB అది ర్యామ్ కరెక్ట్ ఫిట్ అయ్యలేదు రా అందుకే ర్యామ్ ఫిట్ అయ్యలేదు అందుకే మనం ఈ పెడదాం కరెక్ట్ కనెక్షన్స్
and then down. I had to keep my hand in there sitting and stay down. If you want to get closer, stay down.
హలో అరే ఏంటో చెప్పాలి కదా నీ నుంచి బ్యానర్లు గట్టి కట్టించి చేస్తూ ఒక లైన్ ఉంది హలో ఏరా ఏడా ఏమన్నా చెప్పు రూమ్ లో ఉంటాను ఇంకా ఉండదు ప్లాన్ అయ్యట్లేదు క్లాస్ రూమ్ చేసింది అట్లయితే మళ్ళీ చేస్తున్నాను క్లాస్ లో ఉన్నా అబ్బా నేను ఖాళీ ఉన్నప్పుడు నువ్వు చేస్తాడు నీకు కనీసం ఫోన్ కూడా చేస్తా అలాగే అలా నైట్ వెళ్దాం నైట్ నేను ఫోన్ చేస్తాను 1 గంట టైం ఫోన్ చేస్తాను నువ్వే వెళ్ళాల్సింది కదా ఇక్కడికి వచ్చే నేను వచ్చేవాడు అంటారా నేను అంటే బెంగళూరు వెళ్ళి అక్కడి నుంచి వెళ్తాను ఇప్పుడు ఎవరు లేరు రూమ్లోనే వచ్చేది ఇక్కడికి నా క్లాస్ ఉందిరా క్లాస్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు 1 గంట అవుతుంది అప్పుడు ఎలాగో బయటకు వస్తుంది రా అందరూ ఇక్కడ పడుకుందా కానీ నేను లేపుతాను ఏంటిది సర్లే అయితే ఉంటాయి మనీ చేస్తాను అరే హార్డ్ డిస్క్ ప్రాబ్లం కాదురా హార్డ్ డిస్క్ ప్రాబ్లం కాదు ఇది ర్యామ్ ప్రాబ్లం ర్యామ్ కట్ ఏ సిల్ ఏదో పెట్టకపోతే ఉంటుంది ఏది చేద్దాం అని చూసుకోవాలి
Hi, Venkat.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. Hold on a second. Yeah. So basically, we have the router transformations where instead of using multiple right, so instead of using multiple filter transformation, right, So basically, if you use multiple filter transformation, integration service processes each transformation individually, right? So instead of doing that, we can use this router transformation for using all the conditions in a single transformation, right? So let's see that. So I am importing the, I'm getting the source data, right? So I have router transformation here. Okay. So I'll copy all my data from here to here. Right. So if we go here, these are the kinds of ports I have. These are the ports I have in my router transformation, right? So if you go to the groups, right? So basically you have two kinds of groups here. One is user defined group and another one is default group, right? So you can see if you click on a group, so you can see these are the two kinds of groups. So this is what we call as a user defined group. User defined group is nothing but it is basically defined by the user, right? So if you want to keep the condition, you can write that in the user defined group, right? So department number 10. So in this group, in this group, I can write the conditions. So department number 10 is equal to department number is equal to 10, right? So we can even give another condition. So you can give any number of conditions here, right? Department number 20, department number is equal to 20, right? DPT 30, DPT number is equal to 30, right? So these are all called as here integration. The router transformation supports two kinds of groups, right? So this is called as a user defined group and this is a default group, right? So basically user defined group, we can give all the user defined conditions. You can give any number of conditions here, okay? So the conditions which you gave here, the rows does not satisfy any of these conditions, that will be routed to the default group. Got it?
Yeah.
So if any rows that does not satisfy the condition, that will be sent to the default group, right? So let us say I am eliminating this group. So basically you have how many groups here? So you're given department number 10 and the 20. So there are some number of rows where it belongs to department number 30, right? So that department number 30 rows will be sent to the default group, right? So if I click OK, so you can see what are all the groups you have. You can see, right? Department number 10, 20 and the default group, right? So let's drag and drop the things here. 20 and 30, right? So what I'll do is I'll connect from 10 to 10. Right? And so the rows which does not satisfy these two conditions will be sent to the default group. So basically my department number, default group will contain the department number 30, right? You understand or not?
Yeah.
So I'll save, I'll create a workflow. Let's go. Okay. Click on OK. So I'll create the task. So either I can create like this or I can create like this router. Right. So I'll keep this one. So I'll keep this is a target, right? So there are 3 targets here. So what I'll do is I will share this Oracle underscore target. Will keep to all instances, right? So if I do it like this, so all the other instances will be having the Oracle underscore target, right?
Yep.
So I'll keep this bulk loading into variable load.
And what is the wall from ordinal? Can't find his wallet.
Oh, it's not failed. Okay, I did not keep the truncate option, so that's the reason it failed. Can you keep the truncate option for all the targets?
Yep.
Start Windows normal bit.
Yeah, I found it outside.
Brother, not తెలిసి ఇది నేను కోర్టు కరెక్ట్ పెట్టలేదు.
Failed again.
So it's still failing? No, it succeeded, right? Right? You can see it, right?
Oh yeah.
So basically, this also performs same like the filter transformation, but where lies the difference is, the filter transformation, it can check the incoming data only once, for only one condition. Whereas in router transformation, we can check the data, incoming data, for more than one condition, right? We can, if it is a filter transformation, we have to send, we can send only to one target. So whereas in a router, we can send the data to multiple targets. And the router transformation, in addition, it supports to receive the dropped records also, right? So the records which are not satisfied by the given conditions here will be sent to the default group. So which basically collects the dropped rows, right? So in the filter transformation, in which these options are not there, right? So we can check only for one condition, we can send only to one target, and it does not support to receive the dropped rows, right? Got it?
Yep.
So that is the main uses of the router transformation here, right? So apart from this, we have another transformation like the union transformation, right? So union transformation is basically acts opposite to the router transformation. Let us say you have different number of sources which have the same same metadata, and you want to add all the you want to do a kind of vertical joining, right? Vertical merging. So for a vertical merging, the requirement is you have to basically you have to do the same metadata. Basically the table should contain the same metadata in order to join the vertical merging, right?
Okay.
Right. So basically router transformation acts quite opposite to the union transformation, where you can see, right? So I'm basically getting the data from the target table, I mean target schema. So you can see here, right? These three tables contain the same metadata with different data. Right? So department number 10, department number 20, these both all these things contain the same metadata, and I want to union all this data, right? So in that condition, I use a union transformation where it basically does the vertical merging.
Gotcha.
Vertically it adds the data, right? So union right. So what I'll do is, so I'll get all the data, all the three tables into my workspace. So what I'll do is, I want all the data into a single table. So this department, this table contains the department number 10 data. This table contains department number 20 data. This table contains department 30 data. Right. So I want all the data into a single table. Right. So for adding this kind of data, basically the basic requirement is this data should contain the same metadata. All the tables should contain the same metadata. If I want to add the data, basically I have to go for the union transformation. Right? So you can see, right, union transformation is there here. So this is a bit different from other transformation where you cannot copy the columns from here to here. You cannot copy the columns.
Oh, wow.
Not access. So what we have to do is go for the union transformation, go for the groups. Right? So in how many groups your data contains? So
3.
you basically have 3 groups, right? Three different tables. So department number DPT 10, DPT 20, DPT 30. Right? So we have this 3 department. And what are the group ports you have? What are the ports you have? Right? So you have employee number. Employee number, email, job, salary, date, commission, department number, right? These are all have. So this is of numeric data type, and it's a string, and this is numeric.
I love you guys. Take care. Yeah.
So in a real scenario, you would have to know all the columns in your tables?
Right. So for this, for merging, for performing the vertical merging, right? So you have to know all the columns and what are all the data types, precisions, everything, right?
Okay.
So I'll go for applied. Okay. So if you see here, so you can see here, right? These are the
Yeah.
3 input rows, and you have only 1 output.
So what happens if you miss one? Does it fail? If you miss a column?
If you miss a column, means you don't have to give that, add that. I mean, you don't have to link that column here.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
So this is the kind of very rare scenario. Like you don't use this. Why? Because you don't get the data in this kind of format. Like right. So joiner is basically used. Why? Because if you want to join 2 different tables, or let us say if you want to join the diagram. Okay, let us say you have to join the data from 2 different tables. We have to use the joiner transformation.
Yeah.
So this union transformation is basically, if you have the data which is having the same metadata, right? If you want to join such kind of data, you have to use the union transformation, right? So for joiner transformation, you should contain you should contain at least a single common port between the 2 tables. But in union transformation, all the metadata should be the same between the tables where you want to join.
Okay.
Are you clear?
Yep. Pretty much.
Okay. So what I'll do is, so I'll do add all the links, right? So only on the score union we have all the process. Right, and okay. So I'll drag the client to the workspace and I'll connect this. So this union transformation basically works as a union all. Union all means this accepts the even if there is the duplicates, it accepts. It does not restrict any. Table of view does not exist again. Okay, I got it. So basically, this is imported from the target schema, right? This is basically from the target schema, right?
So it's the opposite, really.
Right. So apply to all the instances.
So it's target to target, right?
Right, right. What the hell? There are no rows in this. How come there are no rows? Did we truncate it? No, we did not truncate anything. Okay, let's run the router transformation so that the data will be loaded. What the hell is happening? Let's check if this was okay. We don't have data here. Okay. Oh my god. Let's check if this will check right. So one more thing is here, right? So you can see, right? Basically, you can stop the workflow or session in two ways. One is by issuing the stop or by issuing the abort command. So these are the two commands you have in order to stop the session or the workflow, right? So basically, if you issue the stop command, right? What happens is how much amount of data it is extracted, that much amount of data will be returned to the target.
Okay.
So let us say I have some 50,000 records there, right? So I started the workflow. Okay. After I started the workflow, I don't want to finish it. That's why I given the stop command. Okay. So when I given the stop command, what happens is whatever the data that is extracted. So let us say before issuing the stop command, there were some 10,000 records are processed. 10,000 records are extracted. Right? So these 10,000 records are loaded into the target, and it stops. These are loaded into the target, and it stops. Okay. So if you issue the abort command, so if you issue the abort command, what happens is the integration service, it will give 1 minute of time. It will give 1 minute of time to do all sorts of ETL like extraction, transformation, and loading. So in this span of 1 minute of time, if that is not done, it will stop the whole thing. It will stop the whole thing. Like it won't even load the data which is extracted. It kills the whole process. Got it or not? Even extracted 10,000 records, okay, these are not loaded into the target. Why? Because it gives 1 minute of time to do all sorts of ETL process like extraction, transformation, and loading. So in that 1 minute of time, if the extraction, transformation, of loading is not done, the integration service kills the process, kills the entire process, such that no data will be loaded into the target. So if it is a stop command, so whatever before issuing the stop command, whatever the data is extracted, that will be transformed and loaded to the target, and it stops the session. Got it? So that is the difference between the stop and the abort.
So what if you abort? What if you issue the abort command a couple of minutes after your session?
No, it just waits for 1 minute. Exactly 60 seconds it takes. So it waits for the 60 seconds to processing the data. So in that 60 seconds, the data is not actually processed. Processing means extraction, transformation, and loading.
Okay.
Right? So if this ETL process is not done within the 60 seconds, it will kill the whole process. The integration service will kill the whole process.
Okay.
Not a single record is processed into the target.
Okay. Yeah.
So in case of stop command, what it does means, so before issuing the stop command, whatever the data that is extracted, that will be transformed and loaded to the target. So that much time it will take to actually stop the session. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the difference between stop and abort. So basically, let me use this process to load the data into the department table. I don't understand why it's taking this much of time. Okay, so you got the data into the department table. Okay, let's run the union transformation. So if you run the union transformations, all the data should come to the employee union. Very good. You can see it, right? All the 14 rows are sent into the target by using the union transformation. Okay. So if we have the same metadata and you want to join the data, basically you use the union transformation. So this is a kind of vertical merging. Why? Because all the data, all the tables contain the same metadata. We'll do the vertical merging, right? Vertically we are joining the data. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah. I do.
So that's what union transformation is. So okay. Shall we go to the next transformation?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing is that, so let us say we have the data in the flat files. We are getting the data in the flat file. So in that situation, what we'll do is we have the data in the flat file. So what we'll do is let's create a flat file. Okay. So employee number. In the flat file, the data is like this: employee number. We know. Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Let us say this is a data that is consisted in the flat file. Right. Flat file is, you know that, right? What is meant of flat file? Flat file is nothing but it's a .txt or a .dat file. Right. So I'll save this file in a another drive. So I'll save this file in E drive, and I will give this the name as employee emp. Right. So let us say this is the data I'm having in my source in a flat file. So if I want to get the data from the flat file, what I'll do is I'll go to the sources. You can see here we have something called import flat file. Right. So if I import from flat file, so I have to go for the location where my flat file is associated, where the flat file is situated. So I'll go for you can see, right? Flat file is basically, it can be in .txt or .dat, right?
Okay.
So you can even the flat file could be anything. It could be .txt, .csv, whatever, right? So I'll go for all files. So I'll get this one. And okay, right. So basically, if you import the data from the flat file, you have the flat file import widget here, right? So this is there are two kinds of flat files where you can get the data from. One is a delimited and another one is a fixed widget, right? So delimited is basically if your flat file contains a delimited, like comma, tags, hashes, whatever, spaces, whatever. So these are the kind of delimiters you have. If your flat file contains the data that are separated by the delimiters, we call it as a delimited flat file.
Yep.
Right? If fixed width is basically if you have you can see, right, fields that are aligned in the columns with the spaces between each field. You don't have any kind of delimiters in between the columns. So in such kind of data is present, we basically go with the fixed width, right? So as of now, we have the data in the delimited format. I'll choose the delimited, right? So this is the field name. I mean, this is the name of the table, and you want to start import at the first row, right? So you can skip if you want to skip the first row, you can basically give the number 2. So if you give number 2 here, it will start loading the data from, you start reading the data from number 2, right? Give number 1 here, and I want to import the field names from the flat file. So you can see, right, I have the field names in the flat file, so I'll do import. Okay. So if you go next, so you can see what is the delimiter you have in a flat file, whether it's a semicolon, tab, or whatever, right? You can see all these are kind of delimiters you can choose, right? So you can go for next. So you can see what are all the basically the Informatica takes it can recognize the data type easily. So you can see, right, without giving the numeric, it basically is taking the based on the data that is present in the flat file, it basically recognizes the data type, right? So if you want to change the field names, you can basically change the name of the columns here, right? So if you go for finish, you can see the employee is a flat file type. You can see
Yeah.
the flat file type. So I'll save. So if you go for the prior examples, right? So you can see the data is a Oracle. So the data is a kind of Oracle. So this is a flat file. Got it?
Yep, I do.
Okay. So let's load the data from flat file to flat file. You can do anything. You can load the data from okay, let's do one thing. We'll load the data from flat file to a table, right? So
Okay.
you can see here, right? The metadata is stored in a separate form, like a flat file is present here, right? So I'll drag and drop here. So I'll change this to a. You can change even the database type. So I'll give Oracle here, so that it changes to a table. Got it? So I want to change the table name. So I'll give something like flat file. Got it? So it
Yep.
changes to the Oracle relation table, right? So I will generate and execute this. So and I will process. I'll create a mapping. So m underscore flat file name. So I'll do a simple pass-through mapping. Right. So I'll go on and create a session. W underscore flat file underscore. So I'll go to task developer for creation of the tab. Right, I'll go for property. Right, here we go. Right. So you can see here, right? So this is basically a file reader. File reader. As it is a flat file, right? As it is a flat file, we cannot give any kind of relation connection. Why? Because relation connections can be given to the relational databases.
Yeah.
So basically, if you want to extract the data from the flat file, what you have to do is you have to give the path of that, where it is located. So let's go where it is located. So I think it's located in the E drive, right? So it's located in the E drive. So you can go here, the source file directory, right? So in which directory the flat file is present. So you copy and paste here, E drive, right? So we have two kinds of source file unloading the data. I mean, extracting the data from the flat file. The one is the direct and the other one is the indirect, right? So direct load is basically if you have we are actually loading the data from the flat file directly, right? So indirect load, I will tell you shortly. Indirect load is basically if you have set of flat files which contain the same metadata, right? If you have a set of flat files which contain the same metadata, if you want to extract that kind of data, instead of going with Hello?
I'm here.
Right. So instead of going with the separate mappings, what we can do is you can make use of a file load. Basically, while extracting the data only, we can merge all the kinds of flat files. Right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure I got that.
Okay. Let me demonstrate that. Okay. We'll see that directly. So that file load. So if I run the data, what happens is it basically extracts the data of which is located in that flat file. Right? So it basically goes to the particular direction, particular location where the flat file is present, and it will extract the data from that particular flat file. Right? So you can see here the flat file is basically associated with the source code for transformation. Right?
Yeah.
So the source code for transformation is can extract the data from either the relational sources or the flat file and the flat file. Right? So let us say you have the flat files that are consisted in, which are consisted in the same format, right? So you have some many files, right? You are not getting all the files in a same table, right? In a same file. So if we have different files which contain the same metadata, so in order to load the data into a target, what I'll do is we'll see what we can do. So let us say this is employee underscore one .txt. And you need to get the two tables. So what I'll do is I will keep the address of these three files into a separate flat file. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll keep this flat file in some other location. So scope .txt. Keep the address of this. emp.txt emp underscore one dot. Right, got it? So keeping all the address of locations of these flat files into one flat file. So what I'll do is I'll keep this flat file in some other location. I'll cut this, and even I'll keep this in the C drive. Okay. I kept this here. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll use the same mapping. So let us say I'll copy this mapping. I'll keep this as an indirect. Right? So I'll copy the same mapping. Got it? I copied the same mapping, and what I'll do is I'll create another session for this mapping. What I'll do is, if I want to extract the data that is coming from that is present in different files, so I'll give the file load as indirect. So basically you have two kinds of file loads, file extraction, that is the direct extraction and the indirect extraction. So direct extraction is basically if you are directly dragging the records from your flat file, you basically give the direct extraction, right? So if you do the indirect extraction, basically what we do is we'll keep all the indirectly we are getting the records from the different flat files, right? So where is the location of that particular flat file? So it is in the C drive, right? And what is the name of that? Script. So I will copy this and I will keep the name of the script and name of the file selection, file location, test file. Okay, I forgot to give this. I'll give this as a working target. I'll give this as a normal. I will truncate the data if the data is already present in the table by the prior session. Okay, so I'll start the task. If you see here, what I can say is the integration service basically goes to that particular script location. So in this script location, integration service goes. So using this script location, so it basically goes to this addresses of the all the text files that are present in this flat file, and extracts the data from the three flat files and loads the data into the target. So this is what we call it as an indirect load. You can use basically getting all the flat files into the mapping and mapping designer and using the union transformation. But rather than that, this could be an easy process if you have the same metadata.